when you go in your imagination and assume what it is that you would like to manifest, not create, but manifest, because creation is done already, all right? And the next thing that you have to do, the only way you can become it is in your imagination. You can't become it any other way. But as you become it in your imagination, you have to assume, and these are the really important words, you have to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If you're writing anything down tonight, write those words down. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Well, what does that mean? It's one thing to have a thought. It's quite another to have a thought that is in your imagination that you are living from rather than about or to. You're living from this idea. It is there, you know it, you live from it. But how do you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled? I will give you an example. I was in California just recently. Two of my daughters were there with me. It was at the time of the movie premiere, January of this year. And someone recognized me at the mall talking to my two daughters. And his name was Vincent. He was 39 years old. And he had a chronic stuttering problem, a speech impediment. He could barely get words out without all the pausing kind of thing. And he had the courage to come up to me, because he was a huge fan. He had read several of my books and so on. He read The Power of Intention. And he wanted to know about intention, which is what I'm speaking about here, only we're adding a dimension to it. And he asked me if there was anything, he stuttered to me, if there was anything that I could do to help him to overcome this. He's had it since he was a little boy. And I said to Vincent, Vincent, in your imagination, I would like you to assume and create for yourself how you would like to be able to speak. I said, can you do that? Can you imagine yourself speaking without the halting speech impediment, stuttering behavior that has become your way of life? Can you do it? And he didn't quite get what I meant. He tried to talk. He said, I can't. I said, no. You don't have to say a word. In your imagination, can you imagine yourself speaking without stuttering? And he closed his eyes, and he stood there with my daughter Serena and Sky right next to him. And finally he said, I can. I said, how does it feel in your body? How does it feel when you go to that place and stay there and think from that place, not about that place, not hoping that you'll get there. You're already there. Imagination is the source of all that manifests. If you can go there in your imagination, you are now manifesting it. This is the beginning, opening place. He said, and he stuttered it, he said, it feels great. He got it out. It feels great. I said, okay, Vincent, what I want you to do is every single time you have a thought about your stuttering issue, I want you to instantly, in your imagination, go to that place. And while you are in that place, I want you to assume the feeling of that wish being fulfilled. In other words, I want you to experience in your body what it feels like to already be where you are in your imagination, even though you're not there yet in your physical world. Can you do that? And he said yes. And I have heard from him, and he is improving. Now, I'd like you to apply this to yourself. What is it? What wish do you have? What is it that you would like to see fulfilled that isn't fulfilled for you in your life? Is it in your relationship? Is it in your health? I'm dealing with a health issue myself right now. I've been diagnosed with something called CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia. And I just found this out. Don't go, it's not sad. It's not life-threatening. It's just what happens when you get a little older and you're in my body. And I am putting to practice, I'm going to write about, and I've already assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled within myself about this leukemia. As a result of doing that, you can't imagine the number of changes that have taken place in my life, including taking off 23 pounds around here, including changing my diet, which I didn't try to do, but I know that there are certain things that my body will react to differently if I use 25% of my food intake to be healthy fats like avocados and nuts and salmon, if I stop eating animal protein, if I blah, 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 blah. I know what they are. And it's not anything that I do because I hope that the leukemia will go away and my white blood cell count will get down. It's only slightly elevated. It's not life-threatening at this point at all. And it's nothing that frightens me a bit. But it is, within me, I have seen such dramatic changes taking place that, and I'm doing nothing because I'm already where I want to be in my imagination. And in my imagination, the next thing that you do, because I'm looking at the clock up here and aware, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and most of the time when I ask people, like on the CDs that we did for Excuses Be Gone, there are two people that I worked with in using the Excuses Be Gone paradigm. One is a woman named Suzanne, and she was a binger and a purger every day for 22 years. Every day. Do you know what a binger and a purger is? You know what that is? It's an eating disorder, where you eat a lot of food, and you bulimia and you throw it back up. And when I first met her outside on Kaanapali Beach at the place where we do this every year on Maui, and she was just walking around and she came up to me and her skin was gray.